Hey, what's going on, everybody? You are listening to When in Seoul, the first podcast. This is our first episode of When in Seoul. My name is Danny Cho.
And my name is Bobby Choi.
And we are Americans that live here in Seoul, Korea. But we have a very different experiences with Seoul because I just got here 3 months ago. And you've been here for quite a while now.
I've been here almost 7 years.
So you are like... You're the Korean American master.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. I know people that have been here much longer, but I've been here longer than you. Let's put it that way. And we're both from America. We're both Korean American.
Yeah.
Our parents are from Korea, and they, I guess they just didn't like it here.
Well, yeah. I mean, my grandma's from North Korea.
Both my parents were born in North Korea.
Yeah.
My mother was born in Pyongyang, and my dad was born much northwest of there.
Yeah. So, like now, when they ask, in the States, when they ask, like, oh, you're Korean?
Yeah.
North or South? It's not really a dumb question if you really think about it.
Yeah, but I still like to think it's a dumb question. Because it all depends on what their intentions in their questioning is.
Right.
And so it's usually not in... it's one of those situations you don't give them the benefit of the doubt.
You're being a jerk right now, right? You know what it is. So When in Seoul, it's a podcast. It's kind of like some tips on how to get adjusted to Seoul, Korea. I'm not fully adjusted. That's why I ask you so many questions, Bobby.
Which this is perfect because actually you're now the only fool that keeps asking me questions.
The only fool. Thanks, jerk.
I mean, no, and I don't use that in a derogatory way. A fool, in definition, is somebody that is not in the know. Okay. And so I'm using it, and it's right. I don't know.
You're not making me feel better, brother. You're just looking at me, and I'm seeing the wheels turn of the BS coming out of your mouth. You just called me a fool.
I guess that's basically what the show is going to be about. Yeah. It's about like let's learn.
Okay.
Like what we know, and let's share, and let's see what you're learning, and share with the world what you're learning as well. A little bit of background before we move on. You are from the West Coast. The
West Coast. I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Right, and specifically you are from
East LA.
Which is
basically a bunch of Mexican gangsters and
or the eastern part of LA.
Yes. Oh, why are you telling my jokes, man? So East LA, I grew up with a bunch of Mexican Americans, and my parents had a liquor store there, and like most Korean liquor store owners, they have liquor stores in the hood, and then they live in the suburbs. Yeah. But my parents thought it'd be a great idea to live right behind the store. Yeah. And so I lived in this, you know what? As much as people think it's like a terrible neighborhood and, there was a lot of violence, without it, I probably wouldn't have been a stand-up comic.
Okay. So we can talk more about that on the When in East LA podcast.
Yes. So thanks for... Why are you dismissing my childhood? What about you?
Well, I told them just a little bit of background.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And then for me, I'm from the East Coast, and unfortunately, the best does not rhyme with West or East. Yeah. Sorry, this is a disaster.
This is a disaster.
I am from New York City, born and raised. From Manhattan, where there were no kids actually where I lived. And so I was very much a loner growing up. I moved out here to Seoul 6 years ago for a change of pace. And, I love it here. And I just decided to stay. And I've learned to love it more and more. But there are lots of things that we can share to make people's visits here, transitions here, whatever the situation is for people coming here.
Yeah, I mean,
make it easier for them.
Absolutely. I think. I've been to Korea a handful of times just to visit. You know what I mean? And there was always these questions, and I think the first big question, I think that's what we're going to cover on this episode, is getting to Korea and Seoul in general. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because whenever you go to another country, like you got to think like, yo, where am I gonna get how am I gonna use my cell phone? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's a big thing.
Like most airports are kind of far away from the major city. How the heck am I gonna get there? You know? And so this episode is more of a guide of getting to Korea and getting to Seoul and trying to just not fit in, but like
figuring out the basics.
Yes.
You know, the things that you're gonna have to deal with it. You might as well know as much as you can about it. And you, like you said, before you moved here, you had visited me like at least once a year.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, because I missed you, buddy.
Oh yeah, great. That's a nice sentiment. Moving on. Things have changed within the 6-7 years as well, though.
Absolutely.
Every time you come, something is different or easier to do. I remember you used to actually rent your prepaid. You used to rent cell phones in K-Town, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
That would work in Korea.
Yeah.
Which is still an option, apparently. Like, you can still go to some of the K-Town cellular shops there and rent a phone to use in Korea.
Yeah.
But lately, you know, the way to go is just to get a prepaid SIM card at the airport.
Yeah.
Or you can get it at any store, basically.
Yeah.
Around your hotel. Just ask them.
But you better be sure that your phone's unlocked, because if not, then you can't do that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the first thing is, when you land from another country, you land in Incheon International Airport,
which is one of the best airports just in the world. It's like ranked.
Yes, according to Skytrax, apparently, it is ranked number 3 in terms of best airports in the world
in 2017.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
the last ranking.
Yes, we lost. Well, as if it's my airport. But Incheon is number 3. Number 1 is Changi International Airport, and number 2 is Haneda in Tokyo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Changi is in Singapore.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've seen some like YouTube videos.
Changi's great.
Yeah, I've never been there. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you've been there.
Yeah.
I've been to Haneda.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the sad part of this fact is the U.S. isn't even anywhere close.
Oh no, dude!
It's just, you know, if you're coming from the U.S., you'll know exactly what we're talking about. U.S. was not even ranked in the top 25.
Yeah,
best airports in the world. So little tear rolling down my face right now.
So there's some nationalism in you. You want either JFK or LaGuardia to be ranked.
I mean, step it up, you know? Come on. Korea, this small nation, is just whooping your butt.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, like Incheon Airport is awesome because, like, they have the, what do you call it, the jjimjilbangs?
Very awesome, yeah. The jjimjilbang is basically a sauna, like a shared space between men and women. They have like hot rooms, steam rooms. They have stone rooms, just a place to relax. Let's say if you have a long layover.
Yeah,
I've had friends stay there because their flights got canceled.
Yeah, and
they just didn't want to come back into Seoul.
Yeah,
because it was hassle.
Because Incheon is pretty far. It's about an hour drive from Incheon to Seoul, right?
Yeah.
So. You know, like, let's say you don't have lounge access because you don't got crazy points, or you're not, you know, subscribed to those, like, you know, programs. You know, you don't need to try to find a hotel nearby the airport for a long layover. You can just chill at the jjimjilbang.
And you can go watch a movie. There's a theater in there. There's a skating rink in there.
Oh, I didn't even know
that. There's shopping.
Yeah.
There's, the food, everything is reasonably priced. Nothing is overpriced. They don't mark up the prices of coffee. But basically, if you're paying money for a Happy Meal or like a McDonald's meal at the airport, it's the same price you're going to pay in Seoul.
I didn't even know that. Really?
For the most part, I think that's the case because when you go in the States, if you're like at any airport for that matter, you just kind of, you know right away that the prices are overinflated and so expensive you don't you'll often end up packing your own lunch or snacks or what.
Yeah, dude. Like when I flew out here 4 months ago, I bought an airport in LA. I mean, I bought an airport. I bought an orange juice.
Yeah.
In LA, at the Tom Bradley International Airport.
Yeah.
That orange juice was $4.
Okay.
And I was like, and it wasn't like the special, like the expensive ones. It was like a regular cheap orange juice, and I paid $4 for it.
Oh, and they didn't like juice it in front of you.
No,
like,
I would have paid $4 if they juiced it. Yeah. Nah, but it was like, you know, Tropicana orange juice. It wasn't like, you know, naked juice or whatever. And I paid $4. I was incensed, but I needed the vitamin C, baby. You know what I mean? Like, because, you know, I'm gonna go on this, you know, long flight. You know, and so. Yeah, I mean, it's good to hear that they don't really mark it up here. And the food is not just McDonald's. They got like Korean food.
The Korean food, everything. They have Vietnamese, whatever. Yeah, they have a lot of great stuff. It's not overpriced. It's good. And also, so it's a comfortable place. Whether you're staying or going, it's a great airport.
Yeah.
Including you can get your SIM card there, your phone rental. You can rent a car. Yep. Right? And so, like, for us, we're used to taking buses. Yeah. Into the city. Yep. Right? And so, but there are options. You can take a taxi. You can get a car service. You can take the train. You take the subway, actually. Yeah. You know, and so they have an airport railroad, the AREX, Airport Railroad Express train, which is about an hour. And it's cheaper than a bus. That's always changing. But I take the bus. I live in Hongdae. Yeah. Right? And so the bus for me is only Manwon. Yeah, which is $10. Yeah. If you're going to Itaewon, it's going to be $15, right? Yeah. Certain places in Gangnam, I know it's only $10 as well. So it just, you know, once you get out of the baggage claim, it's easy to find a bus ticket station.
Yeah, it's right outside.
Right,
so
right
like,
outside, so.
And fear not if you do not speak any Korean, because last time I was here, I was with our buddy Peter, who is Korean, but he can't speak a lick of Korean, right? Yeah. And so, as punishment, I made him go buy the bus tickets. You know, and so he went in and he was like, 저기 like he was sounding like that, right? Yeah. And the lady was like, I speak English. Right? And so and you know, it ranges from about what, $10 to $15, you know, for most areas of Seoul.
If you're gonna take a taxi, you're thinking maybe like 65 and up. Yeah. Depending on where you're going in Seoul. Yeah. I don't know. It's probably not a legal thing, but sometimes they negotiate with you.
A fixed fee, right?
Yeah, I know that's a fact because that's happened to me before, and they've asked for fixed fees and stuff. So they're like, anyway, maybe we're not here to promote like
illegal activities. No, but so you know, there are many options, but both you and I think the bus is the airport limousine bus is probably the best way to go. Yeah. But if you're coming in at like midnight, then that doesn't run.
It closes off after a certain hour. Yeah. So and there are a lot of flights that come in like 2 a.m. Yeah. The buses I believe start at like 5. Yeah. So you might have to take a cab, and then I've been in that situation just one time, and just have your timing right, I guess.
Yeah. And if you're lucky and you have if you know someone here with a car, that's the other way. That's how I got in. My homie picked me up, and I was like, thank you, brother.
But that involves tolls as well. Yes. Upwards of $20+ bucks, I think. Yeah. But, the buses are really comfortable. They're nice and, relaxing. They have 2 types, I think. They have the cowl buses as well. That go to, if you're going to a hotel in Myeongdong, I know they stop at a number of them. Yeah. And they stop all over Seoul. They're a little bit more expensive for the cowl buses. A little more comfortable too, though. But yeah.
And the buses have Wi-Fi. A lot of them do.
They do, but I think it's more it's more for people that have phone services here. They're signed up to a plan.
Yeah.
Often most of the buses, the local buses and the airport buses, they have Wi-Fi for KT, SK users, something like that. Okay, so.
Yeah. So now, speaking of wireless and mobile, SIM cards. Like you said, when I first came out here, I would borrow or rent a prepaid phone.
Yeah.
Like a dummy, and from K-Town, and it would cost about, depending on the plan, but it would cost, including the rental fee of the phone, a little over $100, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a lot.
Yeah. And so that was a dumb move on my part. But then I found out about, they do SIM cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the airports. And there's, like you said, there's places around, like all around, like the one, when I first got here, I couldn't sign up for a phone plan because I needed certain paperwork. So for a little bit over a month, I was using a prepaid plan, and
what does that run for? About like
it ranges from about $20 to $60, depending on like how much data you want and things like that. But and if you're here for a small amount, like maybe like 2 weeks,
yeah, that's a good
$25, $20. You know what I mean? And then you'll be fine.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And or you can get the Wi-Fi eggs too. I know that they rent that as well.
Yeah.
The one problem with that, people often complain about the battery going out, so you always have to keep it charged.
Yeah.
But anywhere you go, any cafe, it's easy to be able to find somewhere to charge. It's very common. So.
And my buddy Walter, when he comes out here, because he doesn't have an unlocked phone, so he just gets the egg.
Wi-Fi egg.
Okay. And I mean, he seems to
we seem to be in touch easily. When he was out here.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, those are options. I would suggest if you have an unlocked phone, the SIM card is the easiest way. You don't have to carry anything extra. You know what I mean?
I know some people that have come out here and just strictly got by using the public Wi-Fi.
Oh, wow.
I would probably say if you're not expecting a lot of calls or getting in touch with a lot of people, you could probably get by that way if you're just like backpacking through Seoul.
Right.
And you don't have to meet people and it's just you and your travel companion, whatnot. That could be an option as well because Wi-Fi is readily available, more so than it was back in the States where I was from. So like you could go into any cafe. A nice tip is they usually have the Wi-Fi up at the cash register, but often on your receipt. Just look at the bottom of your receipt.
Right.
They'll have the Wi-Fi network and the password for you. If not, it's usually just no password.
Yeah.
And you can always find a lot of places with no password.
And you know what? Koreans know the word Wi-Fi, so you can be like Wi-Fi. And that's all you got to say, and they'll
and don't be shy because people always ask for Wi-Fi passwords, and so I feel more shy asking for Wi-Fi passwords when I'm back in the States actually, just because I feel like it's so it's for only for customers kind of thing, or if they don't buy it's a private thing, it's only for employees,
right?
Like you find situations like that, it makes you feel like, come on, man.
It's just like it's not going to cost you anything, right?
It's the future.
Come on. It's the future. No, but with that being said, like if you're going to a cafe and you just want the Wi-Fi password, don't be a jerk.
Yeah,
buy a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? Like that's be a little classy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's talk about let's keep talking about the public transportation and stuff like that because I know. Once people are out here, they often don't rent cars. It's a big city. It's like New York. You could take the train, take the bus, take cabs everywhere.
Yeah,
it's relatively cheap. I
feel like Seoul is a cleaner New York in terms of that way. In terms of the public transportation,
absolutely,
and the system about it all.
The train system, the subway system is so impressive. Every time I go back to New York, I can't fathom why they can't update, the greatest city in the world, quote unquote. I don't know where it stands now, but like, yeah, most people think of New York as the greatest city in the world. Then how come Seoul has the better subway system?
So the subway system is, and you know what? I'm from LA, so we barely have public transportation, right? So I'm driving everywhere.
Everyone's driving.
Yeah. But on top of that, I'm claustrophobic, right? So be prepared for certain lines. It's gonna be like super packed.
During rush hours, which are basically the same rush hour times back in the States.
Yeah.
So it gets like to be, you've seen the horror videos of like in Japan where they have people actually
professional crammers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen, you'll get caught in those situations as well if you get crammed into a situation. So.
Oh yeah, dude. I took a train recently to Gangnam from here. And the number 2 line is a packed one. It's a big one, right?
Yeah.
And so I got crammed in by not by professional crammers. Old women behind me were the ones that were pushing their way in. Basically,
ajumas?
The ajumas were gonna push me in, right? And I was like, "Yo, this ajuma is strong." You know what I mean? Like I don't know where she came up with the strength. She has good core, but. So basically, I got crammed in there. My face was stuck against the glass window of the door.
Oh man, there's no like the term personal space is very loose term here.
Yeah.
But it's I would like there's no pickpocket culture here as far as I know.
Yeah.
But it would be a pickpocket's like.
Oh yeah.
Like a paradise.
Absolutely.
Because there's situations where you can get yourself into, and I don't know. Now I'm like advertising for pickpocketers.
It's a heaven. It's pickpocket heaven in these. But
I'm from New York, so that's a big problem.
Yeah. So
you have to be careful about.
So what I did was when the train started emptying out, that ajumma that pushed me in was still there, and I'm one of those guys that need a little bit of revenge. So what I did was. Right when it was my stop and she was there and she was in front of me, I was pretending to fix my backpack straps and with my elbows out, and I walked out and I got her like right on the shoulder. I said, "Bow, take that, Ajuma," right?
So you basically assaulted.
Not hard, just a
harmless Ajuma.
That wasn't harmless. She pushed me first, bro.
Okay. Okay, well, the other options are also you can take the bus in Seoul, which is my preferred way of traveling. As much as I like the train, I only take the train if I absolutely must. If there's a way to get somewhere on bus and there's not too many transfers involved, I'll take the bus. Okay. I like not having to go so far down into the earth sometimes and have to come all the way back up. The bus systems are just as great, and every bus stop you'll see... not all of them, but most of the major ones you'll see, they tell you down to the minute when your bus is arriving.
Yeah.
It's really convenient. The only thing I would say is that the whole English part of it, you can get English translations sometimes on the bus stops and stuff like that. On the speaker, you'll hear bus stops in English.
Yeah.
I would just say if you can communicate with your bus driver to let them know where you want to get dropped off, it might be a successful, communication. So, for me, my limited Korean, I can get by on the buses, and it's really cheap, So.
And for those that like Google Maps actually works. Not in terms of like the driving part, like if you're driving, but Google Maps will work. Let's say if you hit the public transportation function, then it'll tell you like what bus to get on, how many stops it is, and then it'll tell you, okay, from there you get in, you can transfer to the train or whatever.
It tells you exactly how much too.
How much
so
it is.
Based on your distance, it will calculate how much you'll have to pay, which you also pay with T-Money card. More, which you can get at the train station or at a convenience store.
Yeah.
Like a 7-Eleven. You can go in there and buy a T-Money card, have it filled with prepaid. You can put in $10 if you want, and that'll last you however long.
Yeah.
you need it. And then that T-Money card, it basically works like an Apple Pay.
Yeah.
So you can use that on the train, on the bus. You can use it at
taxis even.
Taxis, convenience stores, stuff like that. So it's just another form of currency.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to use.
Yeah, and but you know, given that I like when I first got here and I was using Google Maps, and now I use something called Kakao Maps because I can read a little bit more Korean. Mm-hmm. But the first time I was here, I took the bus the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the numbers were right, but I was supposed to catch it on the other side of the street.
Sure.
And so, you know, you got to be wary of that because I was like, wait a minute. This is supposed to be 5 stops away, but I'm going the other way right now, right? So after 5 stops, I had to cross the street and go back, right?
So use your common sense.
Right.
Your sense of direction.
Yes, I had none of that.
But in Korea, also a big thing for like being on the right side, especially for taxis on the right side of the street is really important. Often a taxi driver will tell you get out of their cab or not even let you in the cab.
Yeah.
If, let's say, you're going to a destination, but you're on the wrong side, and the cab driver's not going in that direction.
Yeah, because the cab drivers apparently here are allergic to U-turns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, dude, there's a U-turn.
Allergy.
I was like, yo, there's a U-turn lane right there.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, so Korean cabs are very interesting because, you know, I've heard a lot of stories about like foreigners complaining about Korean cabs and cab drivers and stuff like that. But what I would say is that if you get in a cab, the rule is that the driver must take you to your destination,
as is in other countries.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So if they start giving you crap, all you got to do, even if you don't speak the language, and you know they're yelling at you regardless if you know the language or not. What you do is you take a picture of their medallion or it's usually on the dashboard
of their license, of their driver's. Basically, take a picture of their picture.
Yes, their picture and their information, their serial number, whatever it is, and basically they will, because it happened to a friend of mine.
Yeah.
So we asked for multiple stops when we got on. Yeah. And the guy was like, "No, we can't do that." Blah 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 blah. And my friend didn't even argue. He just got his phone out and just took a picture. And he went, and he begrudgingly went because my friend, you know, like was like, "All right, I'll report you." You know what I mean?
Okay, that's one way to do it.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. Apparently, that most cabs there's like a number, like a interpreter number.
Yeah, there's a phone number. If you look in the cab, often on the right or left side of the windows, or taped onto the door inside, it'll show a number that you can call if you need an interpreter. Yeah. To speak to the cab driver. Yeah. And I personally have never seen anyone use that.
Yeah, me neither.
But you know, most cabs, I would say 99% of the cabs have navigation in their cabs. Giving them an address is probably the best thing you could have. Yeah. That way you're not taken for a ride. They're not going to take the long way, hopefully, you know, and so which is going to make you pay more. I mean, this is like a classic scam in every city. Yeah. If you're a tourist, many cab drivers, wherever you go, including Seoul, you could get ripped off. Yeah. I've been ripped off many times when I first moved here and I didn't speak Korean. And so this is something to be cautious of, but have an address that will help you get out of situations like that. Or they also have, I know in the States, Uber and Lyft, the phone apps. Yeah. The Uber works in Korea, but I would say, you know, it's a lot more expensive. Yeah. But if you're on vacation, why not? You know,
ball out, baby.
The cabs are cheaper here in general, so you can do that. But in Korea, people use Kakao. Yeah. That's a really popular app here, which is basically, you know, a chatting app, but you can do a lot of things with it. You can they have a Kakao taxi app
Right.
where you can, just like Uber, you can connect your credit card to it and just give your destination, your pickup spot, and it's the same, you know, and then, but the good thing about Kakao Taxi is you don't have to commit to your credit card.
Right.
So you can actually just sign up and pay the cab in cash when you get off. They also have situations in taxis. Also, I know on Kakao Map, it also gives you an estimation on how much your cab ride is going to cost. So that way you can keep, you can kind of gauge what you're going to pay and see if they're overcharging you.
Right.
And you can question them on that as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to keep them accountable.
No, because I know you have had a handful of taxi stories, like, them yelling at you for not being able to speak Korean.
You never know who you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I have the nicest, sweetest drivers, 아저씨s and 아줌mas, that you have the greatest conversations with, and they try their best to speak in English. They find it fascinating that I live here. They want to know why. But then you have cab drivers that are just really really bad attitudes. One guy yelled at me because I was trying to speak in Korean, and he just wanted me to spit it out, you know. And so, but one taxi driver was insulting me and insulting my parents.
Wow.
Because they're like, your parents must speak Korean. They didn't teach you how to speak Korean. How disrespectful. And I knew that this is what he was saying in Korean. And just that one day, I just kind of lost it. And I was like, I'm not Korean. 저는 한국 사람 아니에요. 대만 사람이에요. I'm Taiwanese. Which is a lie.
Yeah, complete lie.
But that cab driver just 180'd and he was just like, what? You're Taiwanese? Your Korean is so good. Like, how did you... What? But then it was at the beginning of the cab drive.
Yeah.
And here I am. Now I'm stuck in a lie.
Yeah.
And he wants to know more about why this Taiwanese kid is speaking Korean. So he's like, oh, what do your parents do? And he was like, oh, they're like, do they live in Taiwan? I'm like, oh no, they live in the States. They're like, did they want you to learn Korean? I said, no, I just really love the Korean culture. And he's like, oh, that's beautiful. And so he's like, what do your parents do in New York? And I'm like, they're university teachers. Totally lying. They're like, where? At NYU. My nephew goes to NYU. It's just the worst. I'm not a great liar, but I just had to keep lying.
Nice.
But I will say I've used that lie more than once in a cab, and it's just I've used it 3 times total now because I've been in a situation where the cab driver was annoyed that I didn't speak Korean.
Yeah.
And so you never know who you're gonna get.
Right.
So you get the cab drivers sometimes that do take you for a ride, and I've had to tell those cab drivers, 아저씨, 이건 무슨 뜻이에요?
Yeah.
What is going on?
이쪽으로
가세요. Why are you going this way?
Yeah.
Take 강변.
Yeah.
Don't go. I'll give him the actual direction, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm a cab driver for 30 years. I know, And I'm just like, "No, you don't know. I live here."
Yeah.
Kind of. So beware. I'm sorry, we're rambling on about the cab.
No, but it's important. You know what I mean? I think because cabs, look, after midnight, there is there's no train or there's no buses. For the most part, right? So you need the cabs are very important. So yeah, man. I mean, the cabs are, for me. I don't know if they rip me off or not because I just don't know. But I've had fairly good conversations with all cab drivers.
That's good. Your Korean is much better than mine, though. So it's good to have have a good relationship with your driver if they're willing to speak.
Yeah.
And they're more likely not to rip you off.
Yeah,
perhaps.
right. Well,
I always feel comfortable with a Korean person actually in the cab because they'll be straightforward.
Yeah.
They'll know exactly which way they want to go.
Oh, remember our friend? we were going somewhere, and we were a little drunk, right? And then and so like the cab drivers and our friend, he was Korean, and they're arguing in the front about where to go, right? And then so like it's dead quiet, and then the guy goes, "So do I make a right or left?" You know what I mean? And so my friend in Korean, our friend goes, if I didn't say anything, that means go straight. Like, you know what I mean? But
it sounds funny in Korean.
Yeah, but it was so like disrespectfully funny.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, man, I mean 말 안 하면 직진이지, right? That was so funny, dude. And I was like, wow, you can yell at old people like this, you know? So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, this kind of wraps up the public transportation and how to get to Seoul and Korea.
Yeah, I'm sure we could have talked much more, but yeah, we're at the end of our time.
Yeah.
For now, but please let's keep this going. There's a lot more to talk about, a lot more to learn, a lot more funny stories that have happened to us. And
we have a lot, guys.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening to the When in Seoul podcast. Catch you guys later.